DLP, Data Loss Prevention Policy. This term you will heard too often under the security system of any organization. Some organizations blocked connectors of Power Platform under these DLPs. However, in some scenarios, you might need to access those connectors while doing your technical implementation. Hey everyone, this is Prashant Chaudhary. I welcome you all to my channel Classic Power App. In this video, we will block the URLs under the DLPs and allow some URLs instead of directly blocking the connector under the DLP. So, without wasting your time, I'm just navigating to my screen. What happened maximum time is like there are some connectors that can be used to share your organization's information outside. So, organizations blocked those connectors so that whenever you try to use those connectors inside your implementation, maybe either your Power Automate or your Power App, it would give you that you can't use these connectors. Or maybe if you're using your connector in your Power Automate flow, that flow won't be turned on. It says that this particular connector is already blocked under the DLP. So we got an functionality now, and that functionality is like instead of directly blocking the whole connector, we can block the endpoints and we can allow some endpoints for the particular connector, and that's how we can complete our development work. So how we can do this? So in maximum scenarios, there is a connector that is HTTP connector in the Power Automate. Maximum organizations blocked this particular connector under the DLP because this connector is used to send the HTTP request outside. Okay, so maximum organization blocked this particular connector. But in if in your scenario you need to send a request, some sort of HTTP request, and your organization has blocked this particular connector, then that would be a problem for you. So now what you can do, you need to set up a DLP. That DLP will not block the connector, instead it will block the URLs that would be passed from that connector. Okay, so how you can configure those URLs which would be passed or which would be blocked, that I'm going to show you here. So what you can do, you need to select your environment, and inside that environment just go to your admin settings, admin center. Under the policies, you have this data policies. Just click on this one, and here it will list you all the policy that is there in your environment. So right now I don't have anyone, so I'm right. Let's try to build a policy. I'll say policy, and I'm writing it as PRS. I would rate block HTTP URLs. Now I hit the next, and here I need to select in which environment I want this particular DLP to work on. I can select one, I can select multiple as well. So right now I just want to go with one environment. I simply click on this one. I can click on this add to policy. Now this particular environment is gone to my add to policy section. Now I'm left with three more. So I can add the multiple environments to work this DLP. Okay. Now I can hit on this next button. Here I have the connectors that belongs to business, non-business, and blocked. Earlier, what used to happen is like organizations simply select the particular connector, let's say HTTP, and then let's say this one, HTTP. They used to directly select on this one and then they click on this block. So now they will move to the blocked connector. But if your implementation would need this particular connector, then how you can do this? So instead of directly blocking this, just move to non-business where it was before, search for your one, HTTP, just select your, and then you have option to configure this connector. Now here you have the option that is connector endpoints. From here you can pass the endpoints that would be allowed or that would be blocked. So let's say we'll add one endpoint, click on this one endpoint, and we are saying that this needs to be denied. Okay, so let's say for the sake of simplicity, I'm using one YouTube, maybe YouTube connector, YouTube URL. Okay, and then I'm pasting it here. Now, let's say I want to use one more, that would be, let's say, Google. I'll add one more, and this one would be my google.com. So now what happens is like if I pass the YouTube as a URL in my HTTP connector, this would not allow. And if I pass Google in the URL of this particular connector, it would allow me to pass it. Okay, now I click on this save, and then I can click on this next, and then it asks whether to create or not. I said create policy. So here you have noticed that I haven't blocked that container. I simply configured the endpoints that needs to be used inside the HTTP connector. Now let's try and check how it will work. I'll go to my environment, and please notice that the environment name is same where I have written the DLP policy. Now I'll go inside the flows, and then I'll try to create a new flow. Let's say test DLP manual trigger. Okay, now let's try to add the HTTP connector. HTTP. Here I have this HTTP, that is a premium connector, and what type of request I want to pass. Let's say I want to pass post. What's the URL? So let's say I'm passing youtube.com. If you remember, this youtube.com we have blocked. Okay, now let's try to pass. It totally depends on your requirement, what type of URL you would have, but just for a easy example, I'm using this youtube.com. Okay, now let's try to save this. The moment you try to save this, let's saving this now. Here you will notice your flow was saved but could not be enabled because it conflict the company's DLP policies. Because this particular URL we have blocked. However, we haven't blocked the connector, but this URL is blocked. The moment I change this to my past URL, which I have allowed, that is my www.google.com, and let's try to save this. When I passed the youtube.com, my flow was saved, but that was turned off. Now, again, that is again turned off, but at this time I haven't got any warning. It means this one is totally healthy. Let's try to turn it on. I come here and then click on this one. Let's see whether we can turn it on or off. Click on this turn on, and here I can see now turn off button. It means my flow is turned on. So it means because the URL which I passed here is acceptable, is allowed under this control, under this connector. But the URL which I used previously was blocked. Let's say if I again use this youtube.com, hit on the save, this particular flow again give me this warning and then say like it's under the DLP. And if I go and check, I can see it is turned off. It is disabled now. Okay. So that's how you can see how we can block the URLs instead of blocking the whole connector. I hope you will find this video helpful. Instead of blocking the whole connector, let's try to block the URLs. Okay, because in your implementation you might need to access those connectors. Okay, so that's all for this video, everyone. Thank you for watching this. Have a nice day.